What is going on, fellas? We are back. It is week 14. We are going to go so fast through our superlatives to make sure that we can get to everybody's questions today, because I know a lot of you guys trying to secure a playoff spot, trying to secure a bye week. Maybe you're trying to avoid your league's punishment or something like that. I don't know exactly what your situation is, but we are going to get right into our locks of the week, our underdog picks of the week, our going nuts picks of the week, and our safe plays of the week so we can get to as many questions as we possibly can. My lock of the week, pretty simple. Carolina at New Orleans, over 39 points. My thought process is neither of these defenses are playing well. Bryce Young's shown some signs of life on the offensive side of the ball, and I think there's going to be some turnovers in this game, which could lend itself to a higher scoring game.
Yeah, no, I agree with that rationale. I actually almost picked Carolina to be my underdog pick of the week, but I ended up going differently. You guys will see that in a second. We'll go straight to my lock of the week. And this just seems like too many points. I love Seattle this week getting 13.5 points going on the road to play San Francisco. The rationale here, San Francisco coming off a big emotional high, big time win last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Seattle showed some life. I think their offense is going to be able to put up points. And I think even if it's a backdoor cover, I think they can get it to a 10-7 point type of game.
Yeah, the tough thing there is that Geno is projected to work out before the game and might not start. And apparently Drew Lock was taking the starting reps. So, I mean, you're probably just betting that Geno plays with this bet, because if Geno plays, I think this is too high of a line. But if Drew Lock plays, I would probably take the 49ers against the spread. So, yeah, that one's interesting. I'm actually I'm going to hang some onions this week with my underdog pick of the week. I'm going with a touchdown dog. Rams money line at Baltimore. I think they actually match up quite well with Baltimore. And I think Baltimore's defense has been a little bit of a paper tiger the last couple of weeks. They're a really good defense, don't get me wrong, but they have given up a little bit more points. I think the offense will struggle against the Rams defense as well. Nakua and Kupp and all these guys, Kyron Williams back healthy. I think the Rams could actually win this game. And they're a touchdown dog, which means I would get 2 points if they actually do. And of course, underdog picks of the week is presented by Underdog Fantasy. I actually do have some underdog pick'ems that I'll go over later in the show if you guys want to tail me on some of those. But what do you got for your underdog pick of the week?
Well, real quick on that, the fun fact about that one is that it's such a low over-under game with such a big spread. And in these type of, rainy environments, low scoring games, you always want to take the spread there for the underdog. So I do like that Rams pick. My underdog pick of the week going straight in is a divisional matchup. It's one team obviously propped up by the value of the quarterback. It's the other team that's probably just playing better football right now. I love the Denver money line going on the road to play the Chargers. It's about an even in terms of the betting market, but I just think the Broncos overall are playing better football, and I want to trust that.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they're even 3-point underdogs. I thought this would be like a 1.5 type of line, because I think if this was a neutral field, I would 100% think the Broncos should be favored. And I guess Vegas is saying that on a neutral field, they're an even team, which I don't think they are. Speaking of that game, actually, my going nuts pick of the week is in that game. Javonte Williams going against the Chargers. They're one of the worst run defenses in the league. Javonte Williams is getting a big-time workload. So I think he's going nuts this week. 20-plus PPR points. Of course, presented by Manscaped. They have a bunch of great Christmas gifts if you guys are still shopping for, brothers, fathers, husbands, whatever. Javonte Williams going for 20-plus PPR points. Do you guys think that is a 3-pointer, meaning very bold, 2-pointer, moderately bold, and a 1-pointer, meaning not that bold at all, and you kind of expect it to happen? So that is my going nuts pick. What do you got?
Yeah, and my going nuts pick of the week, it's a guy that's kind of been, the forgotten man in his offense, but I really love Jalen Waddle this week. It's a lot of game factors involved here. 30.5 implied Miami points. Tennessee Titans are the worst team at guarding wide receivers according to the matchup chart. I just think this is the squeaky wheel game. Obviously, we know Tyreek Hill. We know the running game is going to go off on a week-to-week basis. I think Jalen Waddle is the one that sees the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, Waddle hasn't had a big game all year, to be honest. His best games have kind of been 7 for 95 type of performance. We haven't seen like a 3 for 160 and 2 touchdowns type of game out of Waddle, where he's caught a long bomb touchdown or something. So that one will be interesting for sure. Again, let Danny know if that's a 1-pointer, not that bold, 2-pointer, very bold, 2-pointer, medium bold, and then 3-pointer, very bold. It is the Tennessee Titans, so I'm guessing that'll be a 2 at best, if not even potentially a 1. But I think it should be a 2, just
definitely
given
not
Waddle's performance. Given Waddle's performance, it looks like I'm getting 2-pointers from Javonte in the chat there. Safe plays of the week, and then we will get through all of your guys' questions the best that we can. Presented by Aura, of course. Check them out. Link down below in the description. Jerome Ford, a guy that's been consistently above 10 PPR points in 7 straight weeks or something like that. This guy's an automatic 12 PPR point performance. So if you are a favorite this week and you have Jerome Ford on your bench and you're hoping that he just doesn't screw it up for you, I like Jerome Ford at the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Their defense been a little bit shaky. I think that's going to be like a very grind it, tone setting type of game. Trevor Lawrence is playing banged up. Travis Etienne is playing banged up. Should be a close game, I would imagine. So I like Jerome Ford.
Yeah, I dig that. Very similar theme, a tone-setting, gritty running back. In a revenge game narrative, my safe play of the week is actually David Montgomery of the Lions, traveling on the road to play his former team with the Chicago Bears. I think both running backs are going to have a really good game this week. Obviously, we expect this game to be juiced on the over, given the historical data between these two teams. There's a lot of bad blood here, and I do think that the Bears will put up a fight in this game, hence why I think David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs should both have really good games. But for the purpose of this, my safe play, David Montgomery. I think he finds the end zone.
Yeah, David Montgomery, the revenge game, he went for, I think, 100 total yards and a touchdown last time they played Chicago a couple weeks ago as well. So I do have this listed in the chat here. Again, of course, Underdog Fantasy sponsored one of these segments. I'll talk about some of my pick'ems later on. Make sure to use promo code FSC when you guys sign up. And of course, there is a new customer special on Danny's boy. Dak Prescott, half total yards on the Sunday night football game tonight. So if you guys do want to get some stake in the action, you're on the fence right now, you can get a bonus pick'em. So we are now through the housekeeping, and we can get right into your guys' questions. I know this is a really crucial week, so I wanted to just fire through that stuff and make sure we focused on this. So Reese says, good morning, Breece, CEH, or Keaton Mitchell? I just don't trust the Jets.
Gotta be Breece.
My answer is still Breece Hall. Let me know, actually, where do you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire in your rankings? Because I feel like a lot of people will have Clyde Edwards-Helaire questions, and we could probably answer them right now with where we have Clyde relative to other running backs.
Yeah, so you can outline where you have them first, because I actually have them lower than you do comparatively, because I do prefer in full PPR formats Jerick McKinnon to him. I understand the rapport, but at the same time, we've already seen on the field the utility when it's been the case, when they haven't relied upon Pacheco as that 3-down back, that Jerick McKinnon usually sees the more valuable touches. But I think it's a true 50-50 decision. I think they're both, in that RB3 level range, and realistically, one of them's probably going to give you RB2 utility. One of them's probably going to give you RB4 utility. You just don't know which one. Yeah.
So I'll outline the guys that are outside my top 24 running backs. So in case you guys have some of these guys to decide between, at 25, I have Chuba Hubbard. At 26, I have Keaton Mitchell. Ezekiel Elliott actually locked in after that in my rankings on Thursday night. So he obviously performed at a high level. Alexander Mattison is my RB28. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes in at RB29, Dameon Pierce right after him, Gus Edwards right after him, Roschon Johnson, Jerick McKinnon, and A.J. Dillon. Assuming that Aaron Jones is going to maybe try and give it a go, it looks like he's about a true questionable, a 50-50 on Monday night. But if you guys are wondering, should I start Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Dameon Pierce? Yes. Should I start Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Alexander Mattison? No. Over Keaton Mitchell? No. Over Chuba Hubbard? No. Over Jerome Ford? No. Jerick McKinnon, to me, also kind of in that RB3 range. If you're higher on McKinnon, if it's a full PPR league, I still think that you have to start Clyde over McKinnon. I think that's probably the way that the work is going to get split in a potentially high-scoring game. I want access to the touchdowns, and Clyde presumably is probably the guy that gets the red zone work.
I actually think more so in a high-scoring game, you're going to use the one that can contribute in multiple factors. I think with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's kind of already shown his thing, tipped his thing, where realistically he will get, like you said, the goal line opportunity. But how many times do we see once they get inside the 10, inside the 5-yard line, that Mahomes throwing the ball anyway? So it's kind of at the point now where I think Jerick McKinnon at this point is just a better football player, and he gets more targets. So I kind of want to lean in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a decision 50-50 point. I actually roster both of them in one of my in our listener league, and I have Jerick McKinnon on my home league team. So I'm definitely hoping that it's Jerick McKinnon that ends up. I just if you don't have to start them this week and you want to kind of see what the split looks like, I would prefer not to, because I think Pacheco will be out for another game or two. I don't know if he'll be out for multiple weeks, but I think we're going to get some clarity on this backfield. So
the tiebreaker too for me is I just got to trust with the namesake,
Yeah, for sure. Which is worse, dipping pizza in ketchup or putting pineapple on it? And also, what is your favorite Christmas movie? So we'll go quick on this because a lot of
dipping pizza and ketchup by far. You can argue
pineapple on pizza is good. I don't care what anybody says. It's not my favorite type of pizza, but a Hawaiian pizza every once in a while definitely slaps.
Well, it depends. It's if you're getting a true, authentic, cultural Italian pizza, then obviously you're not going to put pineapple on it. But if you're, let's say, you're drunk at 3 a.m., you just came back from the bar and you're going to the greasiest freaking, you're going to Domino's, you're going to a greasy pizza spot, and you want to say, hey, listen, I want some pineapple on it. Like, I'm not going to fight someone for that. And in fact, sometimes when I'm drunk enough, I actually have a craving for something like that. Again, typically I want the old cultured Italian, my nonna's in the fucking in the kitchen making it for a few hours. That's the best pizza to me. But sometimes you got to fill those drunk urges, man.
Yeah, Maria loves Hawaiian pizza, so I'm used to eating it pretty often. And then he says also, what is my favorite Christmas movie? I think hands down the best Christmas movie ever made is It's a Wonderful Life. It's the best Christmas movie ever made.
Never seen it.
It's just the go-to. It's the classic. I've seen it literally every single year on Christmas Eve. I watch it every single year. So that is my favorite Christmas movie. I also like, Home Alone is probably number 2 for me.
I'm not gonna lie, maybe it's because I'm an only child, but I just never had like the how like on draft day you'll watch draft day the night before, like on Christmas you'll watch a movie the night before. With Christmas for me, I never really like had that type of tradition. I never really had that type of tradition because I would just stay up watching my own stuff, and then I'd wake up and it'd just be me and my mom in the morning anyways.
Yeah, I mean my grandparents are the ones that like got me into that movie, so I really like that movie for sure. Brandon says, hey guys, who to start at tight end between likely Brevin Jordan or Tucker Kraft? So I probably Kraft has the worst matchup of this group, and I probably wouldn't go with him over the other two. It's probably between Likely and Brevin Jordan. Weather in Baltimore, I saw the report today that there's a guy on Twitter, Matt FF Dynasty, I believe his Twitter handle is. He does like a weather report every Sunday morning. And I think the Ravens Rams game was like rated like a 5 out of 10 in terms of like concern level. So it's not like a super bad weather game. But that being said, I think I actually would go Brevin Jordan regardless. So
yeah, I personally would still go with Isaiah Likely. I don't know. I just don't. I
think with no Tank Dell, with no Dalton Schultz,
Noah Brown is playing,
and the Jets wide receiver core is going to have tough matchups. And that game also has bad weather as well.
Yeah.
I actually just prefer the over the middle easy targets for Brevin Jordan. But I think it's probably a toss up. Like I have Isaiah Likely and Brevin Jordan literally at 12 and 13 back to back right now. So they're really close.
For sure. You got where you left off.
Yeah. Okay. What do we got here? PPR Flex 2, Ridley, London, JSN, K9, and Charbonnet. So, both Seahawks running backs are listed as like questionable. I've seen the data behind, what the fantasy docs think, and they think it's like, oh, they'll be active, but they'll probably see a reduced workload, which makes me think this will be like a 3-way timeshare potentially with like DJ Dallas even potentially involved a little. I don't really want to mess with that. Trevor Lawrence is playing, so I want to start Calvin Ridley in this question. And Drake London versus the Seahawks running backs would be the rest of this question for me. I think I would want to just play it safe and go with Drake London. I don't think the Bucs are going to be able to defend him very well, and it is a full PPR league, so the running back takes a hit anyway. I mean, I guess you could, go with I'll wait and see on the Seahawks running backs. Maybe one of them is out and one of them is active, and then I can go with the other. And worst case, I could just play JSN or whatever. But to me, I just would rather go with the first two in this question.
Yeah, not to mention even
this is a crucial week, man. You don't want guys dropping like 7 carries in your starting lineup because they're hurt still.
I would rather start JSN over the running backs, anyways, assuming that both are playing. Like to be honest,
and full PPR, I don't think that's an outrageous take for sure.
So, but regardless, again, Ridley and London would be my lean.
Good morning, fellas. Need a running back and a flex, full PPR, CEH, Keaton Mitchell, Romeo Doubs, and Noah Brown. So I would go with the first 2 options there. I would go CEH and Keaton Mitchell, but Romeo Doubs is actually a pretty decent start as well.
I like Noah Brown too.
I mean, the weather in that game probably makes me veer away from him a little. Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus Romeo Doubs would be the decision point for me. I think Keaton Mitchell is actually my number 1 of this group. But Romeo Doubs with Christian Watson out, on Monday night against the Giants, it's not a very, hard matchup for anybody on the field. If you needed it like a higher ceiling play, like I know this is weird coming from a guy that would be the Chiefs lead back. I actually think Doubs presents a higher ceiling than Clyde Edwards-Helaire in full PPR.
Question I got from you this week, knowing that Trevor Lawrence is playing, are you going with Noah Brown or Parker Washington?
I would go with Noah Brown, I think.
I was just curious because that's actually how I have it in my home league right now.
I mean, if you're scared about the weather and the matchup, I think that's probably fine to go with Parker Washington. He's basically just the new Christian Kirk at this point now. Yeah.
I kind of just want to see it for a week personally. Yeah. Again, to be fair, I mean, I've talked with you on the side before that Like Parker Washington is not a bad player whatsoever. Like he went on day
he
3,
was the type of guy that honestly, like if you told me that
the
Parker
chains.
Washington did what Puka Nacua did, like I wouldn't have been totally shocked. Like both guys were kind of
good
like
at Penn State,
get him in the
man.
right schematic fit type of offense, and they could be like a productive PPR slot receiver.
Yeah, no, I agree. I liked him a lot at Penn State too. And I remember when I was watching Jahan Dotson, I kept saying, I'm like, Parker Washington is not a bad player on the other side. So regardless, though, again, I am going with Noah Brown, but I am cautiously optimistic if you guys got Parker Washington off the waivers.
Yeah, for sure. Zach says, who do I sit? Mostert, Javonte, Swift, Nico Collins. I probably would sit Mostert, to be honest. This is close.
I can't sit Mostert with the 30.5 implied Dolphins points. It's just
I actually have Swift and Javonte higher than him because of the usage shift that we saw with Achane coming back.
I don't mind sitting Nico in a half PPR against the Jets.
Yeah, that would be the decision point for me. It would be Nico versus Mostert because I love Javonte and Swift this week. So I would, I personally would. I think I would sit Nico as well, given the weather and given that it's half PPR. I think you probably lean with the 3 running backs.
Yep.
Anytime touchdown slip: Noah Brown, Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, Justin Jefferson, David Montgomery. So I actually, we'll just quickly show this because I think it's interesting for sure. I'll show you guys some of my underdog pick'ems here if you want to tail these. I got a Cortland Sutton anytime, a Amon-Ra St. Brown, a Justin Jefferson, a Chuba Hubbard, and a Stephon Diggs. And this is a insured slip. If you guys are unaware, on Underdog, you can do like a 5 pick'em like this, and only 4 of them have to hit for you to win that 250. And I believe you get, 6.15 X, or no, what is the payout if you get, I can't remember what the payout is if I get only 4 of these right, but it's still like, I think 6X your money or something like that. And then I also have this one too, which is 4 picks for 1250, which is Zach Wilson to lose a fumble in this rain weather game. I think that one's interesting. Damian Pierce touchdown, Cade Otton touchdown. I like him to score this week, and then Drake London touchdown as well.
Is the top one the one we did together at the end of the stream the other day?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
That'll be an interesting one for sure. Omar says, good morning, fantasy gurus,
Appreciate
Victoria,
that.
BC. All right, Canadian lad here. 12
Appreciate
team,
that.
half PPR, 2 flex, starting Tua, CEH, Eckler, Sun God, Keenan Allen, Ferguson, Downs, Pollard, bench, Minshew. Okay, so Ridley needs to be in my lineup, and I'm taking Josh Downs out of the lineup to put him in.
You're going Ridley over Flowers now with Lawrence back? With weather implications. Yeah, I don't mind that. For the record, again, I have to I still had Ridley with the notion that Trevor Lawrence would be questionable. So I had him at 31, but realistically, let's go through it live right now. Are you starting Ridley or Sutton?
I think I had Ridley ranked as if Lawrence was going to play. So let me tell you where I have him. I am at 22. So I would start him over Sutton.
Would you start him or Rice?
I would start him.
Okay. That's about the range for the record. So I'm assuming you probably have like Kupp, Nico, Metcalf, and stuff above.
Yes, those are exactly the 3 that I have above him, actually. But yeah, for me, Omar, I would sit Downs and CEH and play Ridley and Flowers.
Yes.
That's what I would end up doing, and throw Pollard into your RB1 slot and play him and Eckler and all that shit. So
for what it's worth, I don't think Kincaid's completely out of that question too, knowing the game environment there with the
I would say that Ferguson versus Kincaid is a very close conversation. I think just maybe the tiebreaker that Dawson Knox is expected to play is why you would roll with maybe Ferguson, but I actually do have Kincaid higher in my rankings, but that was prior to the Knox news, so I'm actually just going to move him down 1 spot below Ferguson. But both guys are top 6 tight ends for me, so they're both good options.
Yeah, agreed.
AJ says, I know Bush salty at the Danny Tone Setters deal. Don't worry, Bush. I sent you an offer to help you out. He offered me Cortland Sutton for Jahan Dotson, which I'm probably not going to accept because Cortland Sutton's not even going to make my starting lineup. So there's not really any reason for me to do that.
Yeah. And for me, again, like the big motivator behind making the deal is knowing that your team's good, knowing that, Doc, there's a lot of heavy contenders in that league. And I just got to give myself some more firepower. Again, I'm 11-2. I'm the 1 seed right now, but knowing that you guys have very, very competitive teams.
We both have more points than you too.
Yeah. I mean, it's close. It's close.
Yeah.
I've
just gotten fleeced the last 2. My 2 of my losses are to you, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. I'm just the big man, Yeah.
In our home league, we call it the Messiah. Whoever beats the fucking 1 seed is the Messiah of the league, because it's annoying because every year there's always like one team that's always better than everybody else in my home league. I don't know why it works out that way, but the first time that team goes down, and Amir didn't lose a game until week 7 this year, that team is like the the team that took him down. Our Gravy says PPR sit one: Eckler, Moss, Gibbs, Chase, Devontae, Waddle, Nico. I'm sitting Nico Collins here, and I think he already asked us this question on last live stream, but I'm sitting Nico Collins for sure, especially given the weather and given the matchup. And then Fields or Purdy with no Geno. I would still probably start Purdy, as much as I think Fields could have a great.
Where do you have them ranked?
Who, Purdy?
Purdy and Fields. Where do you have them ranked respectively?
I have Purdy at 6 and Fields at 8.
I have Purdy at 7. I have Purdy at 7, Fields at 8, and I have Mahomes at 6.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. Who's your quarterback 2 this week?
Jalen Hurts. Let me guess. Yours is Dak.
Allen's 1 for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's the clear top 3, to be fair.
Yeah. Gustavo says, happy Sunday. Start at flex. Javonte Williams, Puka, or ETN. Starters are Ayuk, Chase, Kamara, and Kyron Williams. So at the flex, I can't not put Waddle in my lineup this week. I like Waddle's got to be.
Waddle has to be in. I understand the weather implications, but I can't set Puka, to be honest. He's too involved.
So who are you sitting him for? Who are you playing him over?
I understand the matchup, but at the same time, it's like I can't in good conscience in a full PPR start Javonte over him. But at the same time, it's like I have that's another one.
One flex option though. He says start at
flex. It's one.
Waddle, Puka, or ETN. That's what I mean.
Waddle,
like
Waddle. Yeah.
His. Would you take any of his starters out for Puka Nacua? Like, would you start him over Kyron?
No. Kyron.
I'm not sitting him. Yeah. I'm not sitting Chase either, and I'm not sitting Kamara or Ayuk.
How do you have so many good players?
His team is great. This is one of the tough things about having a great team is that there's going to be weeks where somebody drops like 30 points on your bench, unfortunately.
Or it's like you got the guy who's in 11th in your league, and then you see, how on Sleeper now it shows like the accuracy rating of like their lineup, and it's got like a 95% accuracy rating because they have like
team
no
is
actual
shit.
startable
Yeah, my
options.
accuracy rating in my home league right now is the worst in the league, and I have the deepest team in the league right now. Even though like my starters, like there's teams with better starting lineups, I think, than me, like maybe 1 or 2 teams. My start sit accuracy is legit like fucking 81% because I have Devin Singletary drop fucking 30 points on my bench some weeks or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I have a deep team. So it's unfortunately the start sit accuracy takes a hit there.
Yeah, for sure. So we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, Nico or Devontae, Ridley or Hopkins. I'm going Smitty pretty easily in the first question, and then Ridley over Hopkins for me as well.
For what it's worth, I actually do like Hopkins this week a decent bit, knowing the game script. Obviously, big time underdogs, and typically in that type of setting, you usually see more points. For me personally, the way I'm kind of looking at it with DeAndre Hopkins is we really saw him take that next step. He's been really volatile this year. He's kind of been the opposite of what we've known from Hopkins in the past. The guy who's going to get 8, 9, 12 targets a week in the past. It hasn't really been like that this year, but we did see him and Levis get on the same page last week. Obviously, combined for that touchdown, he had 12 targets. I really do think that DeAndre Hopkins, if he can continue that level of involvement as Levis keeps getting better, he could be a top 25 wide receiver rest of the season, I think. But
yeah, he's a pretty solid option, but I just prefer Ridley this week.
I agree too.
Playing, I would start Hopkins for sure.
Oh, yeah, same page. So
Mostert, CH, and Swift. I actually have Swift the highest here, especially in PPR. Swift, he's the most involved in the passing game, and I think it's a squeaky wheel gets the grease game for Swift.
Yeah, for sure. I agree, by the way, for the record.
Give my team a pep talk. Roster: Justin Fields, Eckler, Pollard, and ETN. Win and I'm in. Also, pick 2 standard league. Higgins, Ridley, Dobbs, and JSN. So good pep talk for your roster here is Eckler. I mean, if you don't produce in this game, I don't know what the fuck we're doing at this point. Same goes for Tony. I mean, Tony Pollard's been good the last 3 games, but this should be another spot for him to be good again because it's a high scoring game. Travis Etienne's banged up, so I'm a little nervous about him. And then Justin Fields, he owns the Detroit Lions from like a fantasy perspective. Every time he plays them, he puts up like 30 points, it feels like.
Tony, listen to me, brother. Division could be on the line here. You lose this game, the Eagles are getting the 1 seed. You are going to have to go on the road to play the Philadelphia Eagles or the San Francisco 49ers in the second round. It is crucial you win this game at home. You've been a team that's won 14 straight games at home. You scored 40 points per game at home this year. You have to score a touchdown. You have to. Yeah, this has to be a 20-plus PPR outing. People are calling you dog. People are calling you washed. Are you that same running back that you were last year? You are hearing all that criticism. How do you respond?
Put him in your RB1 slot. Lock it in. Also, pick 2 standard. He says Higgins, Ridley, Dobbs, and JSN. I'd roll with the first 2. Give me T. Higgins and Calvin Ridley. Also, T. Higgins slander has gone a little far. I've seen like his sleeper write-ups. Like he's a risky wide receiver 4 flex play this week. I'm like, what are we doing?
He's
like
top
T.
30.
Higgins is like way better than like fucking 35 receivers in the league. Are you seriously telling me he's like the 40th best receiver in the league?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I have him, I think, as my wide receiver 27 this week. Like,
yeah, like he's a wide receiver 3 this year because obviously he doesn't have Joe Burrow, but he's still a fine play. Trevor Lawrence or Gardner Minshew, T-Law is playing. I would start Minshew over him, to be honest, given that he's banged up. What are your thoughts on this? I have Lawrence. I think Lawrence playing is good for everybody involved. Like it's good for Ridley and it's good for ETN. But as far as Lawrence himself, I'm probably not playing him.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I forgot to adjust. Like I said, with Trevor Lawrence, I didn't rank him, assuming he wouldn't play. Because who the fuck after that type?
I am at 18. Like I don't think he's probably the type of guy you want to start, even though he could play.
With that being said, I have Minshew as a top 15 option. So
yeah, I have Minshew as a top 15 option as well. So I think he is the better start. If you're gonna go with one of those guys, you should definitely go with Minshew. Do you want to find Cody and Miguel's chats for me in the chat here? They sent their super chats around 12:06 p.m. So
yeah. So like it's a super sticker, so I'll go.
Yeah, Miguel and Cody, if you want to check for those 2.
Boys, we did it. I made playoffs and it starts this week. So see if we can turn around from last place 0-4 to a championship. You got it, Cody. You got it. Your team came this far. You've been putting in the blood, sweat, and tears. Go get that championship for the boy. Just like LeBron James and Anthony Davis won the NBA Cup last night. Go Lakers.
Yeah, whoever. Also, that was a Mickey Mouse tournament, no?
Bro, it's so funny. By the way, you'll have like Clippers fans like LeBron and AD when it comes to Mickey Mouse rings, and it shows like the Shaq and Kobe gif.
That's funny. Did you see what Chet Holmgren tweeted out? The when mom's making pizza bagels or whatever?
Yeah, and he was like going hype. Did you see him wearing the do-rag on the flight? Somebody quote tweeted like, Shay's got to get a hold of this locker room. He's got a child predator and a culture vulture on the scene.
Oh, jeez.
Who was the other one, by the way? Miguel?
Oh yeah, Miguel C.
I do not see it. Anywhere.
It was around the same time he sent the super sticker. So
yeah, I'm trying to find. Did he comment it after? Miguel Contreras.
Oh yeah, he did. Actually, he sent a second super chat. You didn't have to do that, Miguel. We would have found your question.
Yeah.
PPR full PPR. Sorry, says Adams, Nico, Olave, and Love, Russ, or Dobbs. Okay, so if you can only start one of these guys, I'm probably rolling with Devontae Adams. And then at the quarterback position, I actually really like both Jordan Love and Russell Wilson this week. The guy that I would go with is Russell Wilson, but I don't think you can go wrong there, to be honest. I like them both. And I actually don't think Dobbs is bad. I have all 3 of these guys in my top 13. Who do you have a preference between Russ, Love, and Dobbs?
I'm going Love. Love's my quarterback 9 this week.
Oh, really? I have Russ the highest of this group because I think this is going to be a great game for the Broncos.
4 point?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's run it. The reason why I'm going like this is pretty simple. Jordan Love has legitimately looked like a top-end quarterback in these last 3 weeks. And again, we've given him his slander when he's deserved it. I'm not joking. But at the same time, when he's playing like this, I got to give him his flowers. Dude looks phenomenal. Dude's pushing the ball down the field. He just looks like
he doesn't have Watson this week, so that could be a tiebreaker that you might roll with Russ for.
Fair. But I mean, honestly, even with more snaps from like Duntavian Wicks, like Wicks has been good this year when he's gotten the opportunity.
He's a good player, man.
He's a good player.
When I was watching him this winter, I was like, this guy can play. Like, what's wrong with him? And I'm like, he had like a very unforeseen circumstance happen when he was in college. There was like a major shooting that he got injured in. So like that is pretty crazy, but like he could play. When I watched him, I was like, this dude can play ball. So as like a fourth receiver, like Green Bay, like you might think like, oh, maybe they could use more weapons. It's like these guys develop and they're going to have a nice little young receiver core. If Watson's their number 1 going forward, Dobbs is their number 2 or whatever, and Jaden Reed's their slot guy, and Wicks is their 4th receiver, like they don't really have to even address this position group. Plus, they have 2 young tight ends to build around. All they have to do is keep upgrading the offensive line and adding maybe running back talent, and they'd probably have a very nice young offense rolling forward.
Yep, agree with that.
Canelo says, hey guys, White over Moss at flex, half PPR. Ooh. Thanks and go Cowboys, he says. So
I think I have Moss
White
a little bit higher.
Moss. I think I have Moss 1 spot higher, if I'm not mistaken. I have White 1 spot higher.
I have Moss 6, White 8.
I have White 8, Moss 9. So they're very close.
In a half PPR, I think you probably lean towards the touchdown equity and the between the tackles ability of Moss. Obviously, in a full PPR, White gets so many targets that it doesn't really matter. But that's kind of my tiebreaker here as well, knowing that it's half PPR.
I mean, it's an easier matchup for Moss than it is for White, too. The Falcons have been pretty solid against the run.
Yeah, they've been a relatively decent defense. I mean, given the train wreck their offense has been, that's probably why they're still in the playoff picture.
Yeah, exactly. Also, isn't it? I almost made this my lock of the week that the Bucs would cover or would win the game because the whole NFC South being 6-7 just makes total sense to me.
Oh, classic.
Bucs being 6-7, the Falcons and the Saints if they beat the Panthers today.
Should we start doing that from now on? By the way, if you make your lock of the week an underdog, you get 2 points instead of 1.
If it's a money line, you mean?
Money line, yeah. Money line.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, it's kind of a Mickey Mouse 2-pointer though, because the Bucs are 1.5 point underdogs.
Yeah, okay. We'll just say.
I mean, they got to be like a 2.5 point or further odds, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree.
Or like plus 125 on the money line or higher odds.
We're just making new rules on the fly, but
exactly.
I think that's smart.
Bonk says pick 2, K9, Jerome Ford, Higgins, and Edwards-Helaire.
Ford Higgins.
I really like if you guys have Kenneth Walker, man. Like, I honest to God, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly don't know what to do with him.
I'm not starting him.
I don't want to start him. So this is a crucial week. If you need this win to get in the playoffs or secure a bye or something, Kenneth Walker could fucking sink your week with like a 3-point performance. So I would go with Jerome Ford and T. Higgins in this question.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
D Bell says, what should I do with Eckler this week? I have Kelly. I mean, you're still starting Eckler. I know he's going to get more work or whatever they said the report was, but Eckler's still the main guy there, especially knowing the league settings because I'm in the league. It's full PPR and you get bonuses for first downs and stuff. Like Eckler's going to probably be just fine. Who knows though? I mean, he looks kind of washed. I'm hoping he's not because I traded for him this week in a dynasty league. Did you see that trade that I ended up making?
Which one?
I traded, was it Roshan Johnson, a 3rd round pick, and Deshaun Watson on a team that I already had Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert,
Bitcoin, right?
Bryce Young, in the Bitcoin league. And I traded those 3 guys, Watson, Roshan, and a 3rd rounder for Ridley Austin Eckler and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, in your spot because you're trying to buy some points. Again, we've kind of gone through it where for the majority of the time.
Like, I also kind of wanted to trim my portfolio down on Watson a little bit because I have him in a decent amount of leagues. And I'm like, I would like to mitigate some risk here and move off of the Watson share.
Agreed. But yeah, we'll keep smashing some of these. Big week, 3 questions. Appreciate the super chat. He says, pick one in each, Hurts or Prescott.
Dude. How is this your decision?
For the record, like I kind of mentioned, them and Allen are my top 3 quarterbacks this week. I have Hurts 1 spot higher. If it's a 6-point passing touchdown league, maybe you favor Dak. If it's a 4-point, I think you got to go with
Dak's at home, so that's something to factor in. He has the better matchup.
Unreal.
That's something to factor in. But Jalen Hurts is
the rushing ability.
He has a floor of 10 points because he gets a tush push and 40 yards rushing every single week. So I don't know, man. That's a tough decision. I mean, if you're looking for the ceiling play, it's probably Prescott, given that they're at home and they have a chance to really hang some points there. But Hurts is probably the best range of outcomes play.
Yeah, because I mean, like the rushing floor is just so high. That's what it comes down to. If they are down inside the 1 yard line, which I swear to God, they've probably been the highest team in terms of being down inside the 1 yard line this year. It's pretty remarkable. When that happens, Hurts is going to get a tush push and they're going to score. It's just
it's an unstoppable
95% of the time
you can do about it.
Yeah, 95.
If I was the Eagles, just to see if I could do it, I would. If they started at the 10 yard line on a drive, I would take all 4 downs and see if I can get to the end zone.
They're doing that 100% every single time.
I actually think they could do it, and I think it would be hilarious if they were like, "Fuck you, NFL. We're gonna literally try and do the tush push for 10 yards on 4 downs."
Yeah, because I mean, you need what, like 3.5 per basic at that point. Not even. You need time. Yeah, you need 3
on the goal line, then you're good.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking 3 downs. No, yeah, because it's 4 downs. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I could see that. Now with that being said, again, my answer, real quick, Hurts and 4-point, Prescott and 6-point. Next question is Lockett, Dowdle, Pierce, McKinnon. Thanks, guys. I'm going with Jerick McKinnon here. I want access to that Bills-Chiefs game, high over-under. Both teams know that it's going to be crucial for the Chiefs' sake. If they lose this game, they're probably not going to be able to get the 1 seed. On the flip side, the Bills, if they lose this game, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. So I like Jerick McKinnon. Again, high leverage spot. We usually see Andy replays his best players, and I do think Jerick McKinnon is the best running back in that backfield right now with Pacheco hurt.
Yeah, if I knew Gino was playing, I would play Lockett, but he's actually like a real chance to sit. So I
Yeah.
actually would go Pierce. Pierce is actually my highest rated
Full
play.
PPR?
He
Run it in.
flashed that usage in last week's game where he was like the lead back there, and the Texans going up against the Jets in like a sloppy weather game. Like I think they're gonna have to lean on their run game, and the Jets are not very good against the run. So
What was the first bet that we had?
it was Jordan Love and Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Chevenos says, should I start Ford over Jacoby Myers? Yeah, I would start Jerome Ford over Jacoby Myers personally.
Yeah.
I don't know where you sit on that one.
Jerome Ford. Yeah, Ford.
Full PPR, Brees, Puka, London, Dobbs, sit one. I'm probably sitting Romeo Dobbs there, although I do like him this week. Brees and Puka and London are better options. We already answered Miguel's question there. Half PPR, Brees with Zach back or K9 against the Niners. There's no way I'm playing Kenneth Walker over Brees all this week. I don't care that Zach Wilson's back. Zach Wilson, unfortunately, is the best quarterback that they have on the roster. That's healthy. Omar says, fighting for a bye week, Metcalf or Olave.
How's Olave's health
I would
situation?
go Olave probably. I mean, this is a tough situation because Olave has the flu and Metcalf doesn't have Geno potentially. So
I'm going Olave regardless. I just want to factor in the risk level there, knowing that Geno, even if he plays, might be banged up a little bit.
Yeah, what's the most recent report on Olave here?
Olave set to play.
It says he's officially active. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be limited at all, but I would say Olave's your better option there. Did Danny just say GIF? Opinions now discarded.
Is that not how it's pronounced? It's not GIF.
I say GIF, but I mean the person who invented it calls them GIF. So.
All right, well, we'll search it up.
The bros that are like true to like the inventor think it's GIF because the guy who invented it says it's GIF.
Yeah, it's pronounced GIF apparently according to Google. So I will continue calling it
GIF. I'm a GIF truther as well though.
Avid GIF enjoyer, eh?
Mostert or Brees Hall.
Mostert for me.
PPR. I have Brees Hall higher.
Half PPR? I thought that said half. My bad.
I have Brees Hall higher. I think he's gotten significant target shares in the last couple games. He's got 20 opportunities last week. The whole Dalvin Cook needs more carries experiment went as planned, which is fucking dog shit. And Mostert is splitting a backfield where he's the 1B.
I have Mostert at 18, Brees at 21. It's literally just comparing. Do you want the usage play or do you want the game situation play?
I have Brees at 15, dude. The Texans can't defend the run. It's a sloppy game.
I have Mostert
getting the ball 25 times.
So you have Mostert like really low?
No, I have Mostert at 17. I think he's a good option.
Okay. You want to run it full PPR then?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Sounds good.
Fields or Purdy, CH or McKinnon projected to win by 10. Lakers run the NBA in season champs.
Let's go, baby.
Fields or Purdy. So if you're projected to win, especially, I would go with Purdy. And then CH or McKinnon. Again, if you're projected to win, I would go with CH. It sounds like he has the projected workload, and McKinnon is more the like, maybe he has a long touchdown kind of guy.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Projected to win by 10. By the way, go Lakers 7-0. Anthony Davis. It sucks, by the way, the stats from that game, both the win and the overall stats, like the numbers, don't count towards the players. So like Anthony Davis last night had 41 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. And that's not going to count on his regular season point per game tally.
Yeah, I mean the whole NBA is a Mickey Mouse league. So
can we talk about it though? Like why shouldn't that game count towards the regular season record when every single other one did?
Honestly, I didn't even know that this was a thing. The whole in-season tournament is completely news to me. So
and to be fair, the main motivator there is each player gets 500,000. So like it's smart because like when you're a star player, you don't really care about the 500K. But the reason why you're going to play hard is because those guys who are the 14th, 15th guys on your bench who just got drafted from college, like 500K to them is like half their like would be like doubling their salary. So if you're a guy like LeBron or Anthony Davis and you see those young kids like working every day to try to get better, it's like, yeah, let me go earn those guys $500,000.
I still think 500K, no matter who you are, is a lot of cash, and everybody would want that as well.
I mean, like, of course, but when you're LeBron James, you're worth $1 billion. It's not really the motivating factor.
Yeah, maybe not LeBron, but even Anthony Davis probably doesn't sniff his nose to 500K. He's probably like, yeah, this is fucking good money. I can go blow it in Vegas and turn it into 1.5 million. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyways, Achan or Kyron and Isaiah Likely or Cade
Achan.
Otton. Yeah, Achan for sure. And then Isaiah Likely would be my pick there, Dylan, at the tight end position. BK Rich says flex Waddle or Olave. I would roll with Waddle this week. I want access to that point total that the Dolphins have.
By the way, my eyebrows raised. I thought you said Olave for a second, but yeah, I agree with you with Waddle. The game situation, like
Did
I
I
said,
say Olave? I meant Waddle if I said Olave.
No, I think mentally I heard Olave by accident.
Oh, okay. Dan says playoffs. So a lot of people with some week 14 playoffs. That's, I mean, garbage in my opinion. You got to get those week 15 playoffs. But tight end flex pick 2, Hawkinson, Laporta, Mostert, and Zay.
Full PPR. I think I might go with both tight ends here.
Yeah, I think I probably would as well.
If you have to choose one tight end,
it's tough. Hawk, you got Jefferson back this week. You don't know how it's going to factor in Laporta. Laporta is the number one guy here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, I have both him and Hawkinson as my tight end 2 and 3 respectively. So
here, the real question though is: do you really want to leave Raheem Mostert on your bench in the fantasy playoffs with what he's done this season? Guy's been the RB2 in fantasy this year.
I mean,
I think I probably, knowing that Jefferson is back, I think I would go Laporta and Mostert.
If this is full PPR, I think I still got to go with Hawk and Laporta. But if you want to, like I said, he led you here, and you want to put Mostert in your lineup, I'm not going to fight that, to be honest. Because I mean, there's similar projections.
Discussion though, for sure. I don't envy this decision, Dan. And realistically, we didn't even mention Zay Flowers' name. He'll probably go for 300 yards today because of that. Yeah. Pionio has a super sticker. I don't know if you want to look for that.
Let's go. Yeah, I will take a look right now.
In the meantime, we got this question here: Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson? I would go Lamar Jackson there.
Lamar, yes.
Or Cenas. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Sean's.
Sean's? Cenas? Shauna's?
Cianis.
Iniesta, or whatever. Isn't that a soccer player?
Andreas Iniesta.
Yeah.
Shout out. Clyde or KW full PPR, honestly, knowing the implications of KW, knowing that he's almost a 14-point underdog and knowing that he's coming off an oblique injury, I'm just going to avoid
risk. Might not have Geno as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Dylan says pick 2 PPR, Hall, Henry, Metcalf, Ridley. This is a wild question here. I think I'm going with Breece Hall as my highest rated of this group. And then knowing that Geno might not play and Derrick Henry's a 2-touchdown underdog, I think I'm going Calvin Ridley with the second one. But I mean, in PPR, it's hard to sit Metcalf for sure. I understand that.
Yeah, dude, I want to put Henry in my lineup so bad, knowing that he's played objectively better recently. But at the same time, it's you are 2-touchdown underdogs on the road against Miami, who can just blow you out of the water. So.
I feel like this is the type of question where whatever 2 we tell you to pick are the wrong 2 because they're all so close.
Agreed. Olave or Sutton? Thanks, guys. I'm going with Chris Olave still, even with the flu game narrative.
Yeah, agreed. I'm on the same page there. Half PPR flex spot, Downs, Godwin, and Roschon. I would go with Chris Godwin this week. There was some, his wife was making some fucking hay about how he's not getting any targets and shit, and this might be a squeaky wheel game for Godwin.
Very well could be, but let's write it down. Downs versus Godwin.
Yeah, it is half as well, and Godwin's probably more likely to score a touchdown of the 2. Let's see what we got here. I do have to go all the way back to the top, I believe.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not sure.
Are we caught up on supers, by the way? Can you just double check that?
Yeah, we're caught up in supers for the time being. By the way, gotta flex the shirt for the chat. Big Elmo shirt, we're vibing, we're cooking. Wore this to the gym the other day. It was ripping some arms. I felt felt nice,
Yeah, there was a duo of 80-year-old guys working out at my gym today. Just how you go to the gym with a partner and you work out with them or whatever. Imagine that, except 80 years old. It was the same vibe that 2 20-year-old bros had, which is it was hilarious.
My fault. I meant to say Cookie Monster. I was thinking from Elmo.
Yeah, I mean, Danny just adding absolutely zero value to the stream with saying that that's an Elmo shirt.
Yeah, my bad. That shit happens.
Anyways, I'm going back to the top here. Jared says, let's go. Need a big dub this week to make playoffs. I'm sure a lot of people are in that position, so we'll try and rip through some more questions here. But in another league, I had the disgusting decision of Eckler, Pollard, Kyron, Ford. Sit one, I'm sitting Jerome Ford there.
Yeah, very easily for me. For the record, Pollard and Kyron are top 9 running backs. Eckler is just behind them for me.
I have Eckler as my RB2 this week. Maybe I'm fucking high, but I think this is the week you got to rank him aggressively.
Okay, so we got to do an Eckler bet then. So you would take him. You take him over Kamara?
Yeah.
All right, let's write it in.
Higher.
Full
McCaffrey's the only running back I have ranked higher.
All right, we're doing Kamara versus Eckler right now.
Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. Not sure.
I just don't like old running backs that start playing like shit.
Neither do I.
Then again, I am also betting on Kamara.
Betting on Kamara, so. Anyways, Maya says Keaton Mitchell, Tajay Spears, or Jerick McKinnon. I have Keaton Mitchell the highest of this group, so I'd roll with Keaton Mitchell.
Yep, I would also go Keaton, but McKinnon's not that far off. But I do think because of the question mark, you don't know if it's going to be him or Clyde. I do lead Keaton Mitchell there as well. He showed obviously the explosiveness and an increased workload prior to the bye week, and I do think his role will expand going forward.
I think he has a chance to really win some people some leagues potentially. Agreed. If we see, like, it wouldn't shock me at all if Keaton Mitchell had like a 70% snap share this week, like just out of the blue, and we're like, why did that happen? It's like he had increased usage before the bye, and now post bye, he's just getting all the work.
For sure. Downs, Lockett, or T. Higgins. It's really close between Higgins and Downs, but because it's a half BPR, I do lean Higgins because I think he's got a higher opportunity to score.
Yeah.
Lockett's not, for the record, Lockett is not that far off, but it just comes to the fact that.
Or potentially Geno or banged up Geno. It's not a great situation.
No, I agree. But even like saying Geno would be healthy, I kind of just want to see Lockett play better. He's just not been the same player this year. I really do think that it's him being aged out. I'm a little bit concerned there. Like going forward, for the record, I will have JSN ranked higher than Lockett.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, Lockett has been the definition of like he's getting ranked high simply based on name value. Like Romeo Doubs has been better than Tyler Lockett this year, realistically.
Tight end flex pick 2, Goddard, Kincaid, Ridley, Javonte Williams.
How about Dan having all these great tight end options?
Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm going to go with Kincaid and Javonte here.
I'm not. I'm going to sit. I guess you have to play a tight end. Never mind. Yeah. Kincaid and Javonte is what I would go with, but.
Yep. Got a super here from Mr. Squirrels. Appreciate that. It says half PPR, 2 quarterback, super flex, pick 1. Zay Flowers, Downs, Walker, O'Connell. Thanks, guys. They're solid flex options, but at the end of the day, they're not good enough flex options for me to sit a quarterback. So I do think I still got to go with O'Connell here.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I mean, Flowers would be the highest one here. I think I would probably go with O'Connell as well. It's a not an easy matchup against Minnesota, but they've been a little lighter against fantasy quarterbacks and wide receivers recently. They're mainly like a run stopping defense than they are more so like one thing I've seen. I think they're blitzing like 20% more than any other team in the league.
Well, it's Brian Flores, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
You have a chance when teams blitz a lot, like that could, really be disastrous for a quarterback. But I think O'Connell's smart enough that he might actually have some like busted coverage, Devontae Adams long touchdown type situations here. Yeah. Adams to score this week, by the way, is one of my favorite anytime touchdown bets.
Love that pick.
And we're going to build one out before the stream is over for sure.
For sure. Super sticker from Trident. If you have a question, feel free to leave it. I will skip right to it. Full PPR start Eckler or Breece Hall. I'm still going with Austin Eckler here. And knowing that you have him at 2, I completely understand that you agree. Appreciate that from Seth. He also says Javonte or James Cook and Puka, Olave, or Collins PPR. So I'm going to go with Javonte over James Cook, just simply off the workload implication there for Javonte Williams. And in terms of the wide receiver, I still got to go with Puka Nacua, knowing it's a full PPR.
Yeah, I'm on the same page there. What do you think of this super boost that FanDuel has? It's Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen to both throw 2 touchdowns or more.
I like that. Like oddly enough,
what are the odds do you think are on that? It's a boosted thing.
If it's boosted, you're probably going to get like in the plus 200 area.
Plus 210 is the odds. Yeah. They also have a boosted one for Sunday Night Football as well. CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown to both record 70 plus receiving yards or more. What do you think that one's boosted to?
Huh?
70 plus receiving yards for both AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb.
If it's boosted, it's probably barely plus odds, like
plus 180.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably barely plus 100 plus. Like,
yeah, I think I like the. I think I'm gonna bet the
plus 180 is actually a really good. Plus 180 is actually really good value.
Yeah, their over unders are probably both higher than 70. I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, what do we got here? Do we have any more supers, or can I go back up to the top?
We got a couple more. Full PPR, Pollard or Rasheed. I'm going to go with Tony Pollard very easily there.
Yeah, definitely Pollard.
Flex spot, Madison, Elijah Moore, Godwin, Noah Brown.
I have Madison the highest of this group. I think Madison's a decent play this week. With Jefferson back on the field, Jordan Addison out there, Hawkinson, they're probably going to move the ball pretty well.
In a full PPR, I also really like Elijah Moore, knowing that the downfield
Cooper's going to play. So
yeah, but even if he plays, he's going to be banged up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a concussion, though. It's not like a lower body injury.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, I probably agree with you, but I also like Elijah Moore. Singletary or Hubbard, give me Chuba Hubbard very easily.
Yeah,
there.
Chuba Hubbard, not even close.
But we are all caught up for now. Back to you.
Okay. Beauty. I'm trying to figure out a bet for like 3 spreads or 3 over-unders kind of thing. What was your lock of the week again that you really liked?
Lock of the week for me was Seattle plus 13.5.
Yeah. I don't think Geno's going to play, so I'm going to stay away from that one. I'm looking around the.
I mean, for what it's worth, I also had to place that prior to the stream. So
my bet, the over 39, my lock of the week, the over 39 on the Panthers Saints, it's catching 71% of the steam on the over right now, and on FanDuel it's actually 38.5. So I'm going to take that. For sure.
So actually, real quick,
like I said earlier, I think I like the Bucks to cover 1.5, just because I think this division would be hilarious if it was 6 and 7. Everybody.
Real quick, by the way, because like you said, it's probably going to be looking like Geno's out now. Can I switch my lock of the week?
Yeah,
if it's your lock. We're doing this on the fly. Let me see.
If I had a second lock of the week, I think my other lock of the week would be.
I like Bears plus 3.
Yeah, that one's not bad. What I actually was going to say is I think I like the under in Texans Jets. 33.5 right now is the number on Green Line.
92% juice.
On FanDuel right now.
Yeah, it's listed 92% juice. For what it's worth, by the way, the Packers Giants game at 37 is an under 96% juice. So that's pretty interesting. I'll lock it in. Chicago plus 3 at home against Detroit. This really feels like a trap game for the Lions. Obviously, they need to try to build momentum for the playoffs, but Chicago's playing some inspired football. Justin Fields kind of knows at this point that the Bears, if they get the 1 pick, are likely to take a quarterback unless Fields goes absolutely nuclear in these last few weeks. And I think knowing that in hand, he's going to play some of his best football down the stretch.
Yeah. So I just made a 3-slip parlay on 38.5 Carolina Panthers and New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line against the Falcons, and then Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs over 48.5. The spread right now is 49, catching a little bit of steam on the under, but I don't know, man. I can't see these two teams not putting up points, and 48.5 is not a ton for Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, the way I look at it.
Agreed. Full PPR pick 2, Keaton, CAH, Cooks, and Ferguson. I'm going with the 2 Cowboys here, personally. I love the game environment. 53.
I would play Cooks and Keaton. I don't think I'm playing Ferguson over Keaton.
I think Ferguson scores a touchdown this week, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all pretty solid options, but I
agreed.
Go Keaton here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. For what it's worth, like I think Ferguson was my tight end 6 this week. Tight end 6 or 7. Where do I have him? I have him tight end 6. Yeah. So
yeah.
Solid content. Pollard. And first, Pollard for me there, Harold. Sit 1, Laporta, Kelsey, or DJ Moore. Well, how is this? How do you have to sit one of these guys, Nick? I mean, like Kelsey's in your lineup regardless because he's my tight end 1 overall this week. So him over Laporta straight up. Laporta versus DJ Moore. I probably lean DJ, but do you have a lean between Laporta and DJ Moore? I go Moore, but
yeah, I would go with DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's a really good one though. Full PPR, Goddard or Kincaid. Start 1 at flex. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, T. Higgins, or Noah Brown. I'm starting Nico, by the way. So that's good context for the second part of the question. A tight end, I'm going to go with Dalton Kincaid. I just love the game environment there. Chiefs and Bills, we got kind of outlined it. Like we said, we both expect it to be over a 55-point type of game, knowing that the quarterback's on either side. I'd probably go T. Higgins as my wide receiver here at the flex.
Yeah, I'd probably go T. Higgins as my wide receiver as well. I actually really like Cooper this week, though.
Yeah, that's fair. Javonte, Eckler, Achane, ETN, Mitchell, pick 3. I'm going Achane as my number 1 here. I mean, you're sitting Mitchell regardless, so it boils down to, are you starting Javonte or ETN as the last flex here? Because Achane and Eckler are in your lineup. ETN versus Javonte for you.
I would start Javonte over ETN this week, given that ETN is coming into the game banged up, as is Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's not a
and
bad.
It's the Browns also.
Yep. Trying to appreciate the super sticker again. If you have a comment, I mentioned it before. Oh, he did. Okay, my apologies. I missed it when we were going through the supers then. Who can I stream tight end this week? Because Taysom Hill out in 2 different leagues. First league, half PPR, likely Komet, Goddard, or Everett. Second league, standard, Okonkwo, Otton, Brevin, Jordan, or Kraft. So first league, I'm
Goddard.
going likely.
Oh, I'm going Goddard because I think he's also a good long-term option.
Oh, so he has to pick one up. If you're picking one up,
he's got to stream one. So, I mean,
right.
Taysom Hill is out. I would say pick up Goddard because you can use him. I actually think Komet is a really good option this week. He would be my highest ranked this week. But if you're looking for a long-term option in addition, because Taysom Hill is your starting tight end, I actually think Goddard is the best option available.
Yeah, for the record, actually, I said likely, but I actually do have Komet higher. I didn't see him.
Yeah, Komet's by the way, if you guys want like an absolute lock of the century, plus 250 for Cole Komet to score a touchdown today seems like the lock of the century, in my opinion.
Yeah, I dig that.
He always scores against the Lions too. Always.
Yeah, no, I like that. I would agree. Again, if it's streaming, you're trying to keep a long-term option, I'd go with Goddard. And in the second league here, again, if this is long-term,
Brevin Jordan is probably your best this week option, but
Dalton Schultz is going to be back.
Sorry, is probably your best long-term option.
I don't think Okonkwo is too far back either, but I probably agree with that analysis.
Yeah, Brevin Jordan's my highest ranked of this group.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, we're caught up on supers finally. Appreciate you guys again for the constant support.
54 supers. You love to see it. Love you guys. Yeah, definitely.
Love you guys.
We also going back to the top of the order. Apologies if you guys have been waiting this entire stream. We have gotten a lot of supers, but we really appreciate that. Casey says 1 wide receiver, 1 flex PPR, Mostert, Ridley, Higgins, Lockett, Keaton Mitchell, CEH. I'm also starting Achane. So I would go with Ridley as the flex, as the wide receiver, and then as the flex. If you're starting Achane already, do you lean towards Higgins or do you still start Mostert?
Mostert.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think the implied total, I'm fine starting both guys.
I believe Casey actually tweeted this at us, and I said this. I just can't sit Mostert given the implied total of the Dolphins this week.
Right. I mean, I guess if you were like a big underdog and you were like, I'm just going to put all my eggs in the Achane basket and try and get upside elsewhere with Higgins, I don't think that's a terrible option.
At that point, do you go with a guy like Keaton Mitchell, knowing that they're 7.5 point favorites at home this week?
No, I would start Higgins over Keaton Mitchell for sure.
Fair. No, I was
just curious. Full PPR, I think Higgins has a higher ceiling.
Fair. Pick one running back and 1 to flex. CEH, Jarek, London, Elijah Moore, and Mingo. So your flex there is going to be London, in my opinion. And then I honestly think your running back, I prefer Jarek. Corey prefers Hilaire.
Which Chiefs running back do you start? And I would start CEH personally.
Yeah. And again, if it's a full PPR, I'd go with Jarek. But if it's half PPR and you want to go Claude, given like Corey said, the touchdown equity, I don't mind that either. But
yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we don't have any answers after this week because it was borderline a 50-50 split.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to be. Like,
I wouldn't be shocked, but I also wouldn't be shocked at the same time if Clyde Edwards-Helaire has 18 carries and scores a touchdown.
Yeah, what's funny is I think like a likely scenario is that happens, but then Jerick McKinnon has like 7 targets, 5 catches for like 51 receiving yards, and maybe has a receiving touchdown. Like it really could be that type of script.
I'm curious what Clyde's anytime touchdown score odds are. Plus 145 right now.
What's Jerick McKinnon's? I am curious. Plus probably a little bit higher. Yeah.
That makes sense. Davis, if you wanted a quick, like, nice little same game parlay, Gabriel Davis on the Bills side, Jerick McKinnon on the Chiefs side is plus 770 odds if you parlayed that together. So that would be, $77 win on a $10 bet.
Yeah, no, that's solid. I will say, for my own sake, knowing playoffs are on the line, I hope Gabe Davis isn't the one that catches the touchdown because I've talked about it. I have Diggs, Kincaid, and Shakir. Funny enough, by the way, in my home league. So this week, I have a whole Bills-Chiefs game stack pretty much with Allen, Kincaid, Diggs, Shakir, and then Jerick McKinnon as a run back. And then if I were to win and make the playoffs, next week when we're in Buffalo to watch the Cowboys-Bills, I would have the game stack of those guys plus Pollard. So, like, my home league is basically just coming down to the Bills having high-scoring nuclear efforts down the stretch.
Yeah. I asked you about this before we went live. Do you have any changing of opinions here? And chat can answer this one as well. My only real start sit decision this week is in our listener league. It's a full PPR 0.25 per first down for running backs league. I have Chuba Hubbard, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Tyler Lockett, but I think Lockett's probably out of it. I actually have both Chiefs running backs, so you could go Chuba Hubbard, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Jerick McKinnon.
This guy went for the cuck on me, knowing that I have Isaiah Pacheco. It's a smart play, to be fair. It's smart.
Oh, I only picked him up to block Brian from picking him up because he was starting the only reason I picked up Clyde was because Brian had like an open flex spot where he was starting like a not so good option, and I'm like, this guy's gonna pick up Clyde and start him against me if I don't pick him up.
Yeah, no. Well, it was funny because I was actually going to go ahead and pick up Clyde or Jerick McKinnon, knowing that I have Pacheco. And then when I saw you got them, I'm like, damn it, I had to pick up Josh Kelly, which is disgusting.
I had Jerick McKinnon. I stashed him last week, so that was good. As I talked about on those videos here,
the classic from Mr. Blue
is always edging.
Yeah, shout out to the edger.
What's up, boys? 2 questions for you both. Full PPR, Olave or Nakua, and Rice or Brees. So I would be going Nakua and Brees in those 2 questions, personally.
Full PPR, man. I'm going Rice over Brees, knowing the game environment there.
I'm not, dude. This is right. Brees. Brees is liking people's tweets of people saying he's trash, bro. This is a Brees fucking thunder stomp. He's gonna fucking have a huge game today. I'm calling it.
All right, so we're doing another Brees then. I do really like Rice this week a lot. By the way, fun fact, on our season bets on players, we're 29-29 on the dot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. And our season longs, I probably edge you by 1 right now because I have Olave to your Watson, and I mean Watson is just fucking Watson at this point.
I mean, he was okay.
Your Hawk is beating my
Olave in the last month. I think Olave's actually been outproduced by Watson, to be honest.
Fair. I mean, the other one was Hawk versus Andrews. Andrews literally fucking snapped his shit, so that wasn't fun. But the one that's like the needle mover
would have beaten him anyway, to be honest.
Probably. Well, the other one, week 8 on. So we made this, I believe, going into week 8. Amon-Ra versus CD rest of season. CD since week 8 is averaging almost 30 PPR points per game.
Yeah, I mean, Amon-Ra's been good.
He's been great, but the thing is, like, as good as
scorched the earth since that happened.
Dude, Amon-Ra's averaging like 22 points per game, and CD's outscored him in that stretch by 75 because CD's just had like 30-point, 40-point games blowing up. It's insane.
Yeah, it's been wild. The other big thing that we're excited about this week is the best ball regular season is over as well. And we're excited to see how many teams we advance right now. I'm currently advancing 38 of my 150, which is a pretty strong advance rate. I'm hoping, because I have so many teams just on the edge, like 6 or 7 points out. I'm hoping at one point last week during the slate, I was up to 46 teams out of 150.
Holy shit.
I know. Yeah, and I had a bunch of guys just slide below. And today it'll probably be the same as well because I have a ton of Dolphins who play tomorrow. So my teams might take a little bit of a hit today because the Dolphins are playing tomorrow. But I'm excited to see how many I can actually get into the tournament. I know I have a lot of chalk. Like I have so much Mostert. I have so much CeeDee Lamb and Tank Dell and Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy and all these guys. But I do have a lot of teams. When I look at them, I'm like, these are really, really unique builds. And I have a ton of like Austin Eckler, who I'm advancing, who's been horrible this year. But if you advance him and he sun runs, then he could actually cook for you.
No, I'm in the same boat here too. But we got another super here from Dante. Appreciate that. He says flex Foreman, Hopkins, Addison, tight end, Johnson, or Chig. So I'm going with Hopkins here for the flex, and then at tight end, I'm going with Chig.
Yeah, is that Jawan Johnson that he's talking about?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Chig there.
Yeah, for what it's worth,
Chig. You said Hopkins as the flex?
Yes.
Yeah, same. Okay.
But yeah, appreciate the super nonetheless.
Yeah, I'll see if I can rattle off some early questions here in case you guys have been waiting this entire time. Tim said, "Good morning, fellas." Actually, afternoon now. He says, "Happy regular season finale." Got 2 questions for you: half PPR, Amari Cooper or Drake London. I'm playing Cooper, and he is going to play by the looks of it. And Swift versus the Cowboys or McKinnon. I'm still going Swift pretty easily there. Tim, half PPR, start Ford or CH. I'm going with Ford there. Sarah, and then had a guy quit in a free ESPN league, so my team is stacked. Why are you in free leagues, Jared? Come on now.
Come on.
HN, Kyron Williams, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, AJ Brown, Eckler, Pollard, ETN, Nico need 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, and a flex. So HN and Kyron are your 2 running backs. Keenan Allen and AJ Brown are your wide receivers, and then
Pollard is your
Eckler
flex.
is my next highest rated player. Actually, Eckler would be my first highest rated running back. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to sit Pollard, ETN, and DJ Moore and Nico, but that's basically where I'm at with it.
Yeah, fair. All right.
Mitchell says, who should I start? Pick 3 wide receivers: Smith, Waddle, Olave, DJ Moore. I would sit Chris Olave of that group. Should I start Justin Fields? I mean, depending on who. I mean, if you're starting DJ Moore, then yeah, I would say start Justin Fields as well. Also, should I start Cowboys defense or Colts defense? I would play the
Colts against Browning on the road.
I would start the Cowboys defense, to be honest.
Yeah,
I know the Eagles can put up points, but they're at home. Eagles have looked a little shaky on offense recently. I think that's fine. Start.
Yeah, for sure. So we do have a final super chat here, and I think we can wrap it off because it is 12:59. For a final one from Mo, appreciate that. He says, crazy to start Keaton Mitchell over Puka and Kincaid over Goddard, half-point PPR. I would say yes, Keaton over Puka, in my opinion, is pretty crazy.
I would not do that.
I'm easily going Kincaid over Goddard, though. So,
yeah, I would also go Kincaid over Goddard as well.
But either way, appreciate you guys. Last hour and 5 minutes. We peaked at, I believe, 150 viewers. Again, you guys have shown a ton of support all stream. If you guys have been here from the get-go, again, truly appreciate your guys' support. And we're going to come at you guys. Once you clinch those playoff spots, we'll make sure you guys make it towards your championship and ultimately win it. But with that being said, peace out. We will see you tomorrow. Take care. Good luck in your matchups.